our bridge! Stop the infill! Save our bridge! Stop the infill!
Another day, another battle to save a legacy railway structure from National Highways' infilling programme. This is Barcombe in East Sussex, usually a tranquil place where the Church Road Conservation Area is intended to preserve and enhance the special architectural and historical features therein, including a bridge designed by civil engineer Frederick Bannister for a line connecting Lewes and East Grinstead. It entered service in 1882. Trains haven't passed under Church Road for 63 years, and withdrawal of the railway's maintenance regime is a possible cause of the defects now affecting the bridge. Movement of the wing walls with their shallow foundations, resulting from possible undermining by tree roots and shrinkage of the clay on which the structure is built. Its assessed capacity is 24 tonnes, and a weight limit prohibits vehicles of more than 20 tonnes from passing over it.
However, according to National Highways, the bridge is in a dangerous condition. Infilling is the company's preferred option and isn't going away. But a group of independent engineers believe the structure is now in equilibrium, as these fractures have relieved the stresses acting on the abutments. There is no prospect of a collapse, they say. Infilling wouldn't improve matters, and only modest brickwork repairs are actually needed.
These conflicting perspectives highlight the contrasting cultures between National Highways, with its big budgets, and a queue of civil engineers who've spent much of 2021 expressing shame and embarrassment at the actions of the state-owned roads company, notably at Great Musgrave in Cumbria, where a fine masonry arch with a handful of minor defects has been consumed in hundreds of tonnes of aggregate and concrete. According to the company's engineer, the bridge was being overloaded and works were required to prevent failure of the bridge and avert a collapse. But its own inspections recorded the structure as being in fair condition, with only general masonry repairs required to the arch soffit. The community in Barcombe does not want the same fate to befall its valued historical asset.
When the pictures from Great Musgrave kind of appeared and we kind of looked into it a bit more, we realised actually what we're facing here, and that what's being talked about is not, some gentle, sensitively constructed repair on a bridge. It's a concrete and aggregate embankment that's going to block a wildlife corridor. And so then that was a bit of a call to action, really. And then looking at this,
you think of infill and you wonder what that means, and then you actually see what it means. Then you think, well, that's just crazy. We're in a world where we're supposed to be taking care of the things that we've got. There must be a way that would allow the bridge to perhaps take more weight if that's part of the intention, but that's not been mentioned as far as I'm aware. It's just to maintain what is there.
National Highways' infilling programme was put on hold by government in response to the backlash prompted by Great Musgrave, but schemes are expected to resume within weeks. The company says that the infilling of Barcombe Bridge has been paused to give more time for local authorities and interest groups to fully consider their local plans to benefit walking, cycling and heritage railways, and discussions are ongoing. But that statement has simply reinforced the concerns of local campaigners. There are no plans for a cycle route here. Indeed, there is vigorous opposition to one. Church Road Bridge spans an ecologically sensitive habitat and established wildlife corridor. The community wants it to stay that way, free of concrete. Many here view National Highways' statement as ignorant and inflammatory.
Well, there's a lot of people in the community who would like to see this wildlife corridor actually have some kind of status, and also to have it here for education, maybe for young people, and actually develop this place for wildlife and support the wildlife rather than looking at ways of blocking it off and destroying it.
Things like roads, wall structures, buildings, those can actually be insurmountable barriers to some species in their movement throughout the landscape. So something such as this bridge set within the landscape here in what appears quite a remote, secluded area, this would encourage the movement of species.
In a letter to National Highways, 176 local residents made clear their opposition to infilling, but a contract for the work has been awarded. The scheme itself is being pushed forward under permitted development powers which circumvent the need for planning permission, leaving objectors without a voice and undermining democracy. It's time for a change of approach, says the council.
The arguments they make are not accepted by the local planning authority, they're not accepted by local politicians, and they're not accepted by the community. And so the answer here is not to keep saying the same thing. The answer is for them to come up with a different solution, and it's been very clear that there's unity across the spectrum that it should remain not just in its current situation but renovated. It's a wonderful structure, it has tremendous history and cultural value attached to it for the community, and it should be made into an asset, not something that has tons of concrete dumped in it and is ruined for future generations.
Barcombe Bridge's ultimate fate will probably rest with ministers. The local Conservative MP, with a majority of less than 2,500, has made her opposition clear to them. The nationwide picture also remains uncertain. Whilst National Highways claims to recognise that its legacy structures are an important part of our industrial heritage, campaigners believe actions speak louder than words, and the company is an unworthy custodian of them. They want the historical railways estate of 3,100 disused structures transferred to Great British Railways, which will oversee rail transport in the UK from 2023.